is what it is. Give me a second to fix things here because I want this video to be accessible and user-friendly for everyone. What are you on about? Oh, heaven's sakes. Now I'm being told I'm at a dangerous site, which isn't true, but I'm going to open something up so that I can chat with you guys for a moment. Hold, please. 12/20/2019. Okay. All right. Now, I was doing a look into some etymology because that's where I'm at with things now with these Towers of Babel, which we are coming back to. And as a whole, it's always good to just look at their words. And ironically enough, I didn't have to really transliterate anything. I didn't have to take it back to the Hebrew or to the Latin. God is good. He knew ahead of time what was going to happen, that things would be translated. And things are proving out in surprising ways to a lot of us. So I do have notes here. I'm going to read from a couple of them because I want to stay on point for where I'm coming from, where I'm at with all of this, and kind of lead you into how I got here. And it shouldn't be more than 20 minutes, half hour at most. And I'm just pulling up my etymology tool so I can go over with you guys exactly what I did. Now here's what I want to take you through it, the same process. Usually I take you guys reverse, but I want to take you through the same process that I went through this with. And I do have my journal. It is written out nicer there, obviously. But for the sake of time and because we don't really know where we're at, which I might touch on at the end of this video if you want my opinions on things. But I do believe that God compelled me to make this video, so I'm gonna make this video in the way that I hope that it can come across to a broad group of people. And in fact, I would be willing to bet, let's start a little wager, that people who have never read the Bible will probably catch on to what I'm gonna show you here faster than people who know their Bible. So it's just one verse, but it has everything to do with America, and it has everything to do with the times that we are in. So you don't have to know your Bible. You don't have to be a person of faith. All you have to really be is somebody who cares about humanity and about America at this point in time, and being, just being a good human. So let me take these off. Now here's where I started with this. I went to Babylon, the etymology tool, because that's what we've been looking at is Babylon, the Towers of Babel. Where were they actually? Am I correct? Is Israel America? Is that why it's not in the Bible? So a lot of this stuff we've talked about before. I'm just going to kind of jump right in. The etymology tool, when I brought up Babylon, it brought up the verse for me, and here it was in black and white staring me in the face, and I did not see it until today. And I would question why no theologians and no teachers are talking about this. It's because the evangelicals are in bed with the political system, but just hang on. It doesn't matter what side you're on, because I'm about to show you that this is bad. This is bad all the way around, no matter who you are. But I got good news and I got bad news, so let's just get into it. So we're going to go to Revelation 17, because this is where the etymology tool sent me. Why, you might ask? Well, Babylon, representing the Greek rendition of Akkadian Babyloni, which we read, the gate of the gods. Okay, what is another word for gate? Portal. Gate of the gods, plural gods, little g, gods, right? The Old Persian form babaru. The English word was also formerly applied by Protestants to the church in Rome. I'm going to also show you that the Catholic Church is not Mystery Babylon, and I'll probably lose viewers for that because people want to hear what they want to hear at this time. And we're also going to talk about the fact that did the tribulation start on 12/20/2019? Briefly. Like I said, this video isn't going to be long. So in reference to a woman arrayed in purple and scarlet, so I'm looking there and I'm letting my brain go, right? Like I'm meditating on purple and scarlet, a woman arrayed in purple and scarlet. Well, woman is almost always a country or a ship. It's always, or a church, it's always referred to as a female. Why? Because women house the babies. Women give birth to the citizenry, right? So, you know, on a play on words, countries, institutions, they're usually given female names. So arrayed in purple and scarlet. So I'm playing with this in my mind, purple and scarlet. Well, what do I know that's purple and scarlet? Not the American flag, so I can't prove it there. Purple and scarlet, purple and scarlet. So right now I'm looking at the material, physical things that are visible. So what else is purple and scarlet? Well, Dunkin' Donuts is purple and scarlet sometimes. And I'm like, well, not really more orange, but D&D. Let's go with that. Dungeons and Dragons. What is Dungeons and Dragons? That's a gate or a portal to indoctrinate children into the occult. Nice similarity, but that's kind of where that one stopped. So, all right, back to the purple and scarlet. Let's look at it symbolically. And that's where things went off. And this is where I can prove that Babylon, Mystery Babylon, is not the Catholic Church. It is America. Purple and scarlet. What is purple? Well, I have notes just in case I forgot. Hi. Purple was often used by royalty, and it was used to mock Christ after the or before the crucifixion. Why? Because purple was so hard to get your hands on. It was one of the most luxurious and expensive and decadent fabric, you know, colors that you could have your fabric dyed. So what does that emote? What is that symbology there? Well, scarlet is for materialism. The mother who is decked in what? In materialism, the mother country that is decked in scarlet for materialism, or no, scratch that. Purple for materialism, and what is the scarlet? The scarlet is blood. Why is it blood? For our military-industrial complex, because it goes all over the earth trying to force or enforce democracy, which is a whole nother gate itself. The etymology of democracy, it's actually a principality. But we'll get to that. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So this is what I was doing. So gate, mother, arrayed in purple and scarlet. Okay, so purple and scarlet is symbolic. The purple is royalty or decadence or materialism. Scarlet is death, is blood, all right? So moving forward from there, then I went, and again, I do have notes, and this is my journal, because God works with me, and God's working with me on a lot of things because I'm a seriously flawed person. Not his doing, her doing. It is because of what I did to myself while I've been here. Okay, so purple and scarlet, materialism and blood. Blood brings us to the material industrial complex. Now, because a country is usually feminine and America is the birthplace of the military industrial complex, and the military industrial complex is the arm or the weaponry which is used to enforce democracy, okay? Now I want you to hold there for a second, because I'm going to toggle over to this verse. You have to hear it, because again, even if you've never read the Bible, I would be willing to bet that people who have never heard this verse will recognize before people who've read it. And it's sad, it really is. And this was on my etymology tool. It said, go to 17:5. This is where they usually say it's the church. And a name was written upon her forehead. So now we figured out, right? She's adorned in purple and scarlet for blood and materialism. She's adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, meaning she's wealthy. She holds a golden cup in her hand. There's that word again, golden, meaning wealthy, filled with the abomination and the filth of her fornication, meaning because she's consuming, right? All of these other nations, all of these souls, all of these children. So now we get to, and a name was written upon her forehead. Mystery. Another word for mystery is secret. Babylon the what? What? Babylon the Great. How can I have been reading this Bible especially this book, for the last 7 years. And I have never seen Babylon the Great and never instantly connected it to Trump in America. Why are no other theologians or evangelicals talking about this? Do I need to even ask that question though, right? I'm sorry, I usually chat with people, but I'm staying focused here because I think it's important. People keep leaving. I've only got one of the thumbs up, but I'm going to keep pressing forward because this is what God asked me to do. So that's what I'm doing. All right, so the name was written upon her forehead, mystery or secret. Why? Because the name is not in the Bible yet, right? Probably because the names are changed all the time. Babylon the Great, the mother of the fornications and abominations of the earth. Meaning, another word that they use there, fornications, is something else. But I want to get on to another, hold please, because we're going to go to the mother of harlots. Okay, so if you go back just a little bit, still English, the mother of harlots. Well, then I got curious. I'm like, well, what is harlots? What is America the mother of? Can I prove this anymore without just circumstantial proof, right? Can I keep using our first fruits, our words, etymology? Can I keep studying the words? Because words are truth. Words are what God speaks, and you cannot delete or erase the truth. You can only bury it. So if we go back and we keep pressing forward or backwards to find out the root of these words, the etymology, we have a better idea of what is being talked about today in the mainstream. And a lot of it's sadly going above people's heads. So harlot, another word for harlot, now stay with me. It's a surname, 12th century, means vagabond. Just stay with me. Man of no fixed occupation, idle rogue from Old French. Let's stop there. Well, why would America be the mother of vagabonds? What does that mean? Tramps, vagrants, rascals, scoundrels. Well, in one aspect, that could mean vagabonds traipsing across the earth doing what? Raping, pillaging. And I'm sorry, but that's what militaries do. Anyone in the military that's honest will tell you afterwards they did not want to be fighting in these wars that they've been fighting in. Because a lot of times it's the people that pay. It's never the ones who want you fighting. They never have there's no casualty for them. There is no cost for them. So we could still point to the military there, but I want to keep going. So I went to the rest of the definition. It says, hold on. Usually male, okay? The secondary, all right. Gestures, buffoons, jugglers. The secondary sense for the word harlot is prostitute or unchaste woman. So what is America? Well, we make all of these promises to all of these other nations, and then we go off with their enemies and do things with their enemies. So that's one thing. The military, I'm not talking about us citizenry, and even the military, they're doing what they're told. They think they're doing good things. A lot of us are just confused at this time, and with good reason. So if I keep going with this, the secondary sense of harlots was probably reinforced because they used it as a derogatory term. But when you get to the end here, it says the root word is Germanic. Harry means army or camp follower. So what is America the mother of? The military-industrial complex. So there I just proved out what I was saying through etymological research, getting to the root words of harlot and Babylon. I think that I proved this out, and I could end this video here, but I'm going to keep going. So let's read that verse one more time to tie it all back together so you understand how I got there. A name is written upon her forehead. The woman was clothed all around. Actually, let's go to the beginning, because check this out. Come, I will show you the condemnation of the great harlot who sits upon many waters. America sits upon many waters. And again, I've heard all the arguments for the Catholic Church. It's not the Catholic Church, because that's who's being persecuted almost the most at this point. And that's who's being made the mockery of. Again, everything you see on screen, they're giving you the worst Christians. The false Catholics, the evangelicals are not Christians. They are into politics. Like, a lot of this is just deception and word games. So it says, come, I will show you the condemnation of the great harlot who sits upon many waters. Harlot, many waters, woman, country. America sits on many waters. With her, the kings of the earth have fornicated. Again, how so? Everyone has some type of alliance with America. And those who inhabit the earth have been inebriated by the wine of her prostitution, which could very well be things that you find in criminal organizations like money laundering and the corn industry, the adult industry, all that stuff. And every other nation is in bed with us at this point. This is why this is bad news for all of us. The good news is when these verses are unveiled like this, usually that means this part of prophecy has either just happened or it is happening. And again, you don't have to believe me. God told me to be a witness, so that is what I'm being. And I will touch on that at the end of this video. Okay, so then it says, and he carried me away in the spirit of the desert, and I saw a woman sitting upon a scarlet beast, red for blood, filled with names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. That could very well be the judicial system, but I'm not going to get into that right now. The woman was clothed. Again, I'm more about symbology. And it's hard if you go verse by verse. I could talk about this stuff and how it's symbolized in all types of media today, but that would take all day. So the woman was clothed all around with purple and scarlet. Purple for materialism, because purple dye was the most luxurious back in the day. Scarlet for the blood of all the wars that we have started. And adorned with gold and precious stones, because America is, they take bribes. Like our president basically, like it's announced daily, we are for sale. America is for sale to the highest bidder. Why do you think they put somebody like Trump in office? He was a great businessman, and getting out of things and getting out of his taxes and, bankruptcy. This is why so many men today look up to him. And okay, well, if I convert to Muslims, then I can still be for war. I can still be rich, and I can still like politics, and I can still like Trump. Well, if I'm a Catholic, then I can still be wealthy. Do you see how all of this, we all have air somewhere, right? So that's not what this video is about. This video is about getting your house in order and understanding what's important and holding those closest to you. Oh, we got to talk about the celebrity swaps too. So if you're interested in that, just hang around another minute or two. Maybe I'll feel like editing this into 2 pieces. We'll see. But again, this isn't going to be over 30 minutes. I don't see that happening. So a name was written upon her forehead. Mystery, Babylon the Great. America the Great. See, do you see why this makes sense now? Prophecy is unveiled as it's happening. It is only totally fully understood as it's happening. Why are they calling Babylon great if it's not actually great? Because Trump is saying that right now. When these prophets see these visions, right? Just like they said pride comes before a downfall, they could have seen a flag that said pride on it, not knowing exactly what that meant in our generation, but seeing after that bad things happened, right? So Babylon the Great, why are they calling it great if it's Babylon? Because that's what he's seeing in his vision. America the Great. And it's a mystery because he doesn't know the name of the nation, because there is no name for it yet. Because it hasn't been renamed yet. The mother of the fornications and the abominations of the earth. Because America it kind of leads the way in a lot of things, or at least did. And I saw that the woman was inebriated. She was drunk from the blood of the saints. Again, because of the persecution that I believe started in 2019 with Rona, and I've been talking about it ad nauseum on both my channels since 2018. I lost so many videos, but moving forward, if you don't understand that the Rona was persecution, everybody is waiting for guillotines to be exposed. These people, these beings will never expose themselves, even as they are being drug away to Hades. They will never say that they are guilty or that they aren't. They will always point the finger at us, and they will always pretend to be the good guys. So we are having disclosure, we are having exposure, and so many people are waking up. And that's why I know it's either A, tribulation, or B, tribulation it's a cyclical thing and it's happening again, because it's either the unveiling of the Antichrist for the first time or the unveiling of the Antichrist for this second time, the resurrection. Which time is it? You could say that Christ, the church, the Catholic Church, spiritually led the whole world for, 1,000 years. And then that stopped. Now, if you look at 2019, pointing back to world events, 2019, April 14th is when Notre Dame caught fire. Okay, how many fires and church fires have there been since then? And then I'm not done. 2019, on December 20th, which is winter solstice, what happened? Trump opened a branch with the NDAA, which is not good. If you look up the NDAA Act for Americans, they can take you off the streets anytime they want to and pop you in a van and disappear you, allegedly. You have rights given to you by on high for when this stuff goes awry, for times such as this. But you have to wield the sword of the Spirit, which is your tongue. And I'm looking away because I'm trying to remember all the stuff that I need to talk about, because, again, God compels me to do certain videos. I don't have a choice. Okay, another reason that we are the fornications with all of the nations is because we have no one culture that we are loyal to. We are a melting pot. We have all of these different languages here, just like the Tower of Babel did. And so that's another reason why we are the mother of fornication and the mother of vagabonds, is because, look, come here, bring, we are that nation. And again, Babylon the Great is because America the Great. Another thing, Trump on December 20th, on winter solstice, 2019, after the fire at Notre Dame, that happened in April, then you had Trump open up this Space Force branch. And he put it in Colorado, where one of the towers of Babel is, because I just talked about this. Now, if I'm right and America is Israel, that would mean that one of those towers right there by Mount Cheyenne, it's not actually Cheyenne, it's Hermon. It's where the fallen angels dwell. In America, gate of the gods, little g gods, because America is Babylon the Great. Yes, I got it all out. Okay. Am I done, Lord? Huh? Oh, the celebrities. Okay. So now everybody is finally talking about what I said started a lot of this for me was in 2018, when I had a lot of things happen around my family, in my family. A lot of things are still unfolding here in Ohio. I keep telling you this. And I didn't know how to describe it to you guys. I kept saying it's like reincarnation, but these people are still here. Their bodies are still here, but it's like somebody shuffled around their souls or their spirits. People are seeing this now with Selena Gomez, and they're saying she has the mannerisms of Gina Davis. That is exactly what I've been talking about since 2018. These beings will never expose themselves. It takes us exposing them. And now, because everybody is into clean eating and healthier living, your temples and your eyes are clear and you're able to see these things. Please fast. Please repent. I'm not a doctor. No part of this is medical advice. But please, if you know, you know. The longer you do that, the clearer your eyes will be, the better you'll be able to see these things. And they're not the only ones. I just saw somebody I was watching, and he's always talking about reptilians, and he's always popping up in my suggested feed. And I knew I recognized him, and I couldn't say where I knew him from, because he's from another channel that I used to watch. Rex from the Leak Project is also Bruce talking about reptilians. They want to make the population look a lot bigger than it is, and we have been under persecution. This is why when I told you that story time about my testimony, the one kid left work early. I said, where is so-and-so? Isn't he supposed to be here? He had to go get a Rona test. And I'm like, test? That's funny. He needs a driver's test because he almost hit me at the light. And that's when I put the 2 and 2 together. Because if you look at all the people we've lost, like Russ Dizdar, and I forget his name, Rob, who talked about the Old Testament and the Nephilim and Gilgamesh. Look at all of the people that we've lost since 2019. But there's also another reason that these people are disappearing. It's because they know what's happening, and a lot of them have went either out of the public eye or are literally underground because they don't want caught up in a lot of things that are going on. And a lot of it is spiritual and supernatural. But it's not like the movies where, oh, a ghost can't hurt you. These things can hurt you because they act through other people. And people are not consuming the proper things in this time. And I've gone over that in other videos. But yes, finally, people are also talking about seeing one spirit in the spirit of another person. You don't understand. These vessels don't have to die. The way I see it working now with certain individuals, they sign on with this contract, right, to be on the screen with Satan's kingdom or whatever. And in order to do that, in order to be the best, they have to have an edge. And to have that edge, they're told to meditate, welcome in your spirit guide. That's how they start you out. But these things that they're getting attached to themselves willingly are fallen angels. And even Beyonce said it. I feel like another spirit comes in and takes over. What you're seeing now, the ones who look like shells of themselves, that's because the fallen angel spirit that they once had has moved on to a new host. And there's nothing left to animate that body. It's the truth. All right, I'm going to end this video now so it's accessible for others. It's a good video. I think it's revealing, and I do believe that the Lord led me to this. And here's what led me to this for anyone that cares, is I was sitting around and I'm like so disillusioned by seeing that there's more than one Tower of Babel, and knowing I've been lied to about so much, not just in the public scope of things, but in my own personal story. I was just feeling really disillusioned. And I didn't know what to think of Catholicism because I fall for it sometimes too. You know, I didn't like Eric Kirk hanging onto the rosary, and I don't like the mockery that's made of certain things. So I stepped back from the rosary and stuff once again. But this morning I said one as I was walking my dog, and as soon as I opened that app, something told me, download the etymology app. You know, start looking up some of these words. Maybe something else will jump out at you. And sure enough, Babylon the Great, Make America Great. Like, I can't believe I didn't connect it before, and I can't believe nobody else is saying anything. Because they're in bed with it all. They're good with it. We've got to be the light so that it rubs off on other people. And that does not mean when Christ said, and this is the last thing I think I'll leave you with today, when Christ said to be perfect like your Father in heaven is perfect, friends, he never meant to be perfect. There is no standard. We don't even know what that means. Perfect in heart, perfect in love. Look back to the other verse. What else is perfect? Perfect love casts out all fear, right? So he meant your hearts. He meant love perfectly. Let your heart be perfected. Everything you do and you say, let it come from a place of love. Even when I yell at my children, I try to remain focused on the fact that this is because I love you. Like I want to shake you awake, wake up, right? So try to just stay focused on that. If you're not a biblical scholar in this time and you think maybe we are in tribulation, maybe this woman in Ohio is correct. Trump is definitely speaking for the Antichrist. Is he the Antichrist? I don't think so. I don't even think what we're seeing is a organic person anymore. And I've told you that for a long time now. And Elon Musk gave you the clue for that in the pictures that he posted on X. I did a video on that too when he did it probably a year and a half ago. I think that's everything for today. But I hope that somebody is blessed by this, and I hope that you can find it in your hearts to pray for me, because I do pray for all of us every day. Now, again, it is very possible that we are in Satan's short season, and that Christ leading the church leading for 1,000 years was the Catholic Church. But it's also possible, again, they change things when they feel like it. 1,000 years for God is one. Right. 1,000 years for us is one day for God. So just look at all these things. Like, you know, all these things need looked at, and we got to stop listening to the same people who cater to this system. And I'm not saying that law and order is bad. I think we all need to follow look at nature. There are laws of nature. What if nature didn't follow any laws anymore? We would all be pretty beat up by now if there were no laws of nature. So we do need We do need law and order, but we need to be wise enough and discerning enough to just be able to say, all right, well, I'm not going to steal, kill, or deceive. And, you know, that should be enough of respecting your neighbor. That should be fine. But if you're not a biblical scholar in this time, and we are in the time of tribulation, I would urge you to pray to God as far as you understand him to be. Do not consent to any other beings having access to your temple, because that would be giving up your first estate. The angels gave up their first estate, which was the spirit of the air. If we give up our first estate, we'll be just as guilty as them. And that's the only reason they're doing this, friends. They don't want you following them because they love you or they like you. They are not our peers. None of them are. They don't see us. They see us as not even so much as pets. Like, we're not even as pets to them. The key to that is we have sovereignty over them. This is our inheritance, and they want us to give that up. They want us to hate the material and think the material is wholly wicked, which is Gnosticism. I'm a little Gnostic in my leanings, but I'm not down with that. This is our realm. And I'm sorry if you don't like it. Well, we need to change it. Like, God's kind of waiting on us to do that. We got to take accountability, just like we tell everyone else to do. We need to do the same thing. Have a blessed day. I love you guys so much. I hope that maybe a conversation can be generated. I hope to see some of you again. And if you do find any blessings in the video, please do feel free to give it a thumbs up. I uploaded a very short upload yesterday in place of a live stream I did that might be a good precursor to this video if you didn't see it. Bye, guys.